Welcome back.
Welcome to the TAE Time Podcast. What you saying? What you doing? How you doing?
What's good?
Don't ever do it again. Anyway, moving on swiftly.
Every single episode. Never do that again.
How have you been?
I've been good.
Let's not lie. I'm not even gonna front with you. We recorded the last episode on Saturday. But this is Monday. There's like nothing in between that's happened. Our lives have not changed besides the fact that we've done nothing.
We went out to eat.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Little bits and pieces. Got a new jacket.
Yeah, you do. You need
So,
to give them a haul.
Not doing that. Anyway,
Guys, should we do hauls on our stories on
and by
Instagram?
that she means should she do hauls? Because I'll tell you right now, I'm never doing.
Yeah,
that.
I'll showcase what Farouk bought.
On herself.
On myself.
Makes no sense. Like,
On myself.
But whatever, yeah. Because you're never seeing me. I'm not the social media guru like that. I'm not interested.
I'll just take pictures of him while he's trying them on.
And I will
Sneakily
delete them and be like, that's not happening. We're not putting that on. I don't like it. Blah, 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 blah. I don't like photos.
Boop.
I don't like photos. I don't like flash photography. I don't like any of that.
Says that he's talking to a ring light.
I don't mind this because it's just whatever. But like, okay, this is wrong. It's not that I don't like photos. I don't like how I look. But at the same time, like, as in, when I look like a bum, you get me? Like, look like this is what, like, when I don't have a trim, when I don't, like, yeah, I'm just like, it is whatever. But I don't care, like, you know. Mm-hmm. But, like, when have a trim and I'm feeding myself, then I'm like, yeah, say less. What you saying?
Take photos of me.
Then if you want to take photos of me or take videos of me, if you ever want to take photos or videos of me, wait till I just got a trim. Because then I'll be like down to do it because I'm like, oh, damn, shorty, you looking fine as hell. What you saying?
This guy would come back from a trim and he's a whole different person.
That's a
like
lie.
The aura around him is suddenly so different. You know when there was that trend on TikTok that was like, oh, like get a fade and now he don't know how to act, or like acting light skin or whatever they call it.
It is true.
It's not forcing it. I think I am first person who views this. I know what you're like when you're like,
I think I'm just more high energy.
Bummy, and then you come home and you're like, I'm like, what?
Oh,
what are you doing? How about hello? How
true.
Are you? No, it's just like, hi.
Get a trim and you have lots of girlfriends.
Yeah, apparently so.
Say less. But nah. Today we got a good episode for you. As in, I know when I say good episode for you, I mean good episode for us. As in light work, easy work, and also good content because TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they all love Reddit stories.
You guys.
You love Reddit stories. So
Shorts loves them too.
You know. So we're out here delivering the content. So let's get into it.
We're trying our best, trying our best. Today I have handpicked out some stories for you guys. Let's get started with the first story of the day. And it goes like this. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter that her grades are more important than her pain right now? Preface, if I come off as callous, it's because I'm trying to be succinct. I have a 16-year-old daughter. In July, she was in a car accident. Most of her injuries were mild. She went to the hospital, but they let her go home after a few days of observation. But even after we got home, she still complained about a lot of pain. I was concerned and took her to the GP, but they couldn't find anything wrong. I told her it's probably in her head and in response to the traumatic event and that she'd be fine in a few days. She stopped complaining about it after that and everything seemed good. Fast forward to yesterday and I got an email from her teacher that she's constantly despondent in class and laying her head down and not participating. I was already seeing red from that and I decided to check on her grades. She turned in multiple assignments late and lost points on them, which is not at all on par with her typical performance. I confronted her about it and she was really quiet at first, like she didn't know what to say. I pushed her on it and she started talking about pain again, which I frankly think it's BS. She hasn't said a peep about it for 2 months, only when her grades are slipping. We started arguing about it and I said that her grades matter more than her pain. She's a junior this year. It is not the time to be slacking. She's been in her room since, refusing to talk to anyone. She wouldn't even go to school today. I'm at a loss. She's never been so difficult. I'm questioning whether or not I'm in the right here.
That's an interesting one, not gonna lie. So This is one of those things where it's like, I don't think she's in pain. I think it is, but yes.
Ooh.
But I do think she maybe hasn't mentally recovered from the crash. You know.
Why do you not think she's in pain?
Because he said she didn't say anything about it for 2 months.
Maybe because she felt like she went to the GP and the GP said you're fine.
Yeah.
And then would it not make you be like, oh, maybe I'll just shut up about it, like it'll go away?
No, because
like,
if you're actually in pain,
people won't take me seriously.
Because if you're actually in pain, like you would, like you'd be in pain. You get me? Like I don't know. Like I could be wrong. Like,
but how many times are you in pain and you say nothing?
Yeah, but there's different. But you can. There's still telltale signs that the person's in pain. You know, like you can see, like maybe about the way they're moving or the way they're doing something or whatever. And I would assume if the hospital is like your grand and the GP is like your grand, like don't get me wrong, they could have just been misdiagnosing her or something. I don't know, maybe not looking at the right thing. But I would hope that they all did their jobs and like maybe. I honestly think it's more of a mental thing. I don't
know because I know someone who was in a car crash, right? And the doctors didn't find anything like physically wrong, but they were in a lot of pain. And the doctors did say that is very possible for it to not appear in any like, you know, scans or whatever. Yeah. But you could be in pain. And like there were bruises on this person and everything. So it was clear that something was wrong. But like obviously there's no broken bones.
It could be a situation of like, internally you're fine, but like you're sore or something. Like you're sore, not in pain, but like you're sore. Well, and obviously different degrees, people have different tolerances for different things. Like someone being sore for something could be really bad for another person, and so on and so forth. But it's just like either way, I'm like, I think if in 2 months there was something, you should say. 1, 2, if there wasn't, then you're like doing whatever. I still think there's a lot of mental trauma there that she's not dealing with or whatever, and that's what's causing the lack of grades. And I think that the parents should be more considerate of that part and like not being like, oh, just get good grades, you know. But at the same time, like, you know, there are people who like will be fine after something, but like they use that same thing forever to like as an excuse, like, oh my god. Like, so I'm just like, is it that scenario?
But I also know people who experience something and then like few weeks later the trauma actually hits them, absolutely. And it's like, oh my god, I was in a car crash, you know, and that could be a possibility of why she's going through what she's going
absolutely through. You know, and that's why I think it's on to the parent to like talk through that scenario. You get me? Like I feel like they should be talking through that scenario and like trying to get the best out of them, you know. That would be my first instinct anyway, to be like, yo, I'm here for you. If there's anything more you want to talk about or whatever, just let me know, you know. And that's what you really want to do, not just like
start shouting,
start arguing out. But at the same time, it's like let's say they could have done that, it could be like 6 months down the line or even a year down the line. They're like, oh yeah, but you know, like the cracker. I'm like, you love bringing this one up.
That's not fair. Trauma is trauma. Like, I think if anything, put her in counseling or something, you know. And also
weak.
I also think I'm on the girl side.
Oh no, I am on her side.
I feel like even from the dad's story, like he's saying that she was never like this, her grades have always been good, and that tells me that she's not a bad student. Like, she's being good.
That's why I generally think it's trauma.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, she's just bringing this up because she's being lazy, when it's like, well, no, she's never been like this. So that's automatically, she's showing a pattern of a very different behavior.
Absolutely.
And that needs to really be taken into consideration, because it's not like, let's just brush it under the rug. Like, it's all cap.
And that's why, like, my main thing is, like, the parent, like, the dad should have talking to her for a while. Like, because I'm 100% sure it's, like, some kind of trauma from the crash. Like, once again, the pain could be there, it couldn't be, but the trauma is definitely there.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I agree. And I think seeking professional help is always the go-to. Always. Am I the asshole for being upset my wife didn't stay in the hospital with me? So I, 35 male, was in a motorcycle accident earlier this week. My wife, 35 female, has 3 kids from a previous marriage. 17, 10, and 5. And we have a 1-year-old together. So 4 kids altogether. I had a collapsed lung and had a chest tube put in, a broken leg, and arm and a torn ligaments in my knee. I've been in hospital since Monday. She came out the day of my accident and stayed until about 4 a.m. Was back the same morning, but has gone home each night. Yesterday, she only stayed until about 1 p.m. to prepare the house for the hurricane and didn't come at all today because the weather wasn't great and she didn't want to leave the kids alone. I told her I was upset and I told her that I was upset that I basically went through everything alone, that I would have done anything to be with her. She told me she's been there as much as possible and it's not fair to dump all the kids on her daughter, especially since I'll need a lot of help when I get home and her daughter will need to help with the kids when she works. I told her marriage means through thick and thin and I feel abandoned. Now I'm getting one-word answers from her. Am I the asshole for feeling like an afterthought?
Let me state something that could be a little bit controversial here. Would he think the same if the 3 kids were his? Because why did he make the distinction that 3 of them were of hers before a previous marriage and 1 of his? Like, maybe he's just clarifying, but would he care as much if the kids were his? Because he has to also realize, like, there's a freaking 1-year-old there,
and that's his.
And that's a lot of time investment alone. The fact that she even has that time to be able to come over to him while there's a 1-year-old at home means she's trying her goddamn best, right?
Till 4 a.m.
Yeah, you know? So obviously that means like I assume the daughter, like the oldest daughter, that one, yeah, is like the one taking care of stuff and everything. But like also at the same time, like, you can't be putting all that, like, once again, like, depends where you're coming from. If this was like in my family, like, there's no issue with that one kid taking care of all the kids while the mom is gone for whatever amount of time. I've been taking care of my brother since I was like fucking 9.
But would your parent, like, say your mom in the situation be gone for the whole few days? Like I feel like your dad would be like, go check on the kids as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's what I'm saying. Know? Like, but I'm saying this situation where this guy's like being like, oh, why aren't you here the whole time?
Yeah, like, you know, living with me
kind of thing. But so I understand it's hard for him. Definitely, you know, collapsed lung, broken leg. Definitely wants like someone there, you know. He feels very lonely, but at the same time I think he's letting his situation completely block his visions to her situation and not think about her situation of like, yeah, actually she's probably busy as hell at home taking care of these kids, and yeah, I'm in a bad situation, but I also have to be considerate that she's trying to see me as much as she can, and that's all that should matter to me. But he's not looking at it like that at all, you know, which is the real big issue in this scenario. Honestly, I think that's really, like, I can understand the human emotion behind it, yeah. But at the same time I was like, you think after being together for however long they've been, he will be able to do better than that. But obviously people take things differently. Yeah,
I agree. I think first of all, like, big props to her because she's handling everything at the same time, and it's a lot. It can be a lot. And this story kind of like tells me 2 things, right? One, I don't think this man has spent much time with the kids to know how much effort the kids require. Yeah. You know, because especially the younger ones, you know, the 17-year-old, okay, she's old enough, you know. She still needs attention, like, sometimes. But the young ones definitely do, and especially the 1-year-old, there's a lot involved. Second of all, this gives me very selfish man vibes. I know someone like this, who kind of, you know, wants the attention of the, like, wife. She's
not talking about me.
No. I never said this. No. I know someone like this, right? The type of man who, like, is kind of so dependent on the wife that's, like, wants the attention more than, you know, like, the kids and everything. And it's just, like, the kids need...
They're like their own big baby.
Yeah, but, like, you know, like, the kids need that, like, mother figure there.
This is so funny because we know exactly who she's talking about.
You know, like, the kids need their mom. If the dad isn't involved, which clearly in this case I don't feel like he is, like, it doesn't give me that vibe. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to, like, underplay what he's going through. I think it's really rough, a hard time, but I think someone more understanding, and I think this is from seeing people go through really hard stuff, like even Farouk himself, you know, there's that bit of understanding of other people, you know, and it just, yeah, That's all I have to say.
Nicholas like, we leave it off of that.
Yeah, I can tear into this man a lot more, but I'm not going to because.
But yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. It's definitely one of those, like, it seems like, once again, we could be completely misjudging, but it does seem like he doesn't fully understand the full extent of what is required at home. And it's like, you should be with me. Fuck them kids.
Yeah, you're like, don't mind those kids. They're not even ours other than one, right?
Yeah, he's like, only one is mine.
Only one's mine. Okay, on to the next story. Am I the asshole for coming home early from meeting my boyfriend's parents? My boyfriend and I went to see his parents for the first time this weekend. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. We were supposed to stay Saturday, Sunday, and fly back afternoon Monday. I'm writing this Sunday night already, back in my own bed. My boyfriend's parents greeted us at the airport and brought us home. They then proceeded to ask me if I had drugs in my bag, and I was pretty shocked because who asked that? I said only Tylenol, and they nodded and showed us to our rooms, which meant I got the guest room and my boyfriend was to sleep in his old room. His parents were serving dinner, and during dinner, I was asked to pay for my portion of the Thanksgiving dinner. $30. I was pretty shocked and angry because who does that? I've never been asked to pay for someone's ingredients fees when a guest at their place. I didn't answer and then confronted my boyfriend in his room and asked why I was asked to pay. He just says it's something they ask of their friends as well. When they have a barbecue, they ask people to pay for their portion. Honestly, I'm shocked that they have friends. I reminded him he has eaten at my parents' place dozens of times and he was never asked to pay. He claimed if they had asked, he would have, but they never did, because it's rude to do that to a guest. But his mom came and got me and escorted me to my room. I was fuming and looking for tickets home and texted my boyfriend to say I was going home tomorrow. He called me and begged me to stay, saying his family already don't like me for not agreeing to pay for dinner and I'm just making it worse. I ignored him and rebooked an early flight, which was very expensive, and got a cab to the airport in the morning. I told my friends this, who had confirmed they've never been asked to pay for a meal while they were a guest. And if they were struggling, why even invite me over? Is this normal practice? Their house was pretty big, and I don't think it was a money thing for them.
See, this one is so sticky. I'm not gonna lie, because this is gonna sound so weird. This could be a weird take. This could be a weird hot take. But I actually don't blame the parents in this scenario.
Okay.
The people I blame is the girlfriend and the boyfriend.
Okay, why the girlfriend?
Okay, I blame the girlfriend because if it wasn't for the fact that the boyfriend explicitly stated that they asked their friends as well to pay for the dinners they invite them over for, I would have said there was no issues on the girlfriend side, right? But it seems like this is what the parents do. It's a normal thing to do. It's weird. Don't get me wrong. That's weird as fuck. That's weird as fuck to me. I'm like, okay. But like, I could understand it if you were like struggling, but you really want your son's girlfriend over, and so you're like, oh, we already do this anyway. Like, we're not in the best position, so this is something I can understand, right? And I think there's kind of nothing wrong in that mindset, but at the same time, I feel like I guess you'd like to think it's like one of the times you wouldn't do it, but I can understand if you're really struggling, it's very hard to, not do that, to make exceptions, which is understandable, okay? So I don't even want to go into the parents' situation like that. But the girlfriend took it so badly, and the fact that she admitted that, she's like, no, I'm not paying. Because she didn't tell us that, but she kind of said it by saying the whole, like, the mom was kind of in the mood because she didn't want to pay. Yeah. And I was like, oh, damn, so she didn't want to pay. Okay, whatever. But at the same time, she was giving out about it. And then the boyfriend, my issue with the boyfriend is knowing that this was going to happen, like, whatever. Why didn't he just cover his girlfriend's part of the meal? Just say to his friends, oh, don't worry about X and X. So-and-so, I'll pay for them, by the way. Don't worry, it's fine.
Like, before they even arrive.
Like, don't worry. Like, because he knows that it's a normal thing. He'd just be like, don't worry about so-and-so, I'll pay for it. I just wanted her to come and meet you. Okay? Which is whatever. And obviously, you can always say that, like, why does he have to pay? Like, it's like if they went for a dinner date, why can't they go 50-50? Okay, yes, but you understand how it's going to look to someone. But I do feel the girlfriend, I could be wrong in this, but I do feel the girlfriend was very not understanding of the family.
Okay.
I think, the whole drugs thing, I think some parents are just weird like that. They're like, do you have drugs? I like, with that question, I assume it's something that the son has had to go through many times.
Possibly.
Like, they probably been checking him every time he goes out. Don't touch drugs, or and when he comes back, you smell. Did you take anything tonight? Did you take any cannabis? Some coke, whatever. You know, kind of
them kind of parents.
You know, them kind of parents, because it seems like them kind of parents, right? So I feel like she wasn't like being like. She wasn't being tolerant of like those, because like, let's be honest, if you go to your partner's house, unless the parents are explicitly like being rude to you and like calling you names or undermining you and stuff like that, you like, everyone just kind of sucks it up and deals with the awkwardness of the scenarios, and then it's later on you talk to your partner. Your partner be like, yo, is this normal or was it just to me? And then when you find out it's normal, you're like, oh, it's just, I know how to go around these guys, these people, you know, like deal with them. And so that's why I think the fault is at the boyfriend and the girlfriend. Like, you can tell me if you think otherwise, but that's just what I'm thinking.
I think my take is that I fully put responsibility on the boyfriend to inform the girlfriend of the parents, because he knows this is not normal because he's eaten at her house and he was never asked to pay. So it's not like...
Well, he was raised up with it, though.
But that's what I mean. Yeah. He knows it's like he's been around to other people. Like, he's been to her house.
Who knows? Like, maybe the only other house he's gone to is the girlfriend's house.
I don't know about that. I feel like the fact that he knew her parents were different should have rang a bell of like, yo, my parents aren't the same as yours, you know? And I feel like he should have let her know that in advance.
I do agree. He should have at least given her a heads up about the paying thing.
Like, just be like, hey, look, my parents do this thing where they will charge you for dinner, you know? And then she can make up her decision whether she wants to go or she doesn't want to go. But don't act as if it's like, oh yeah, she'll just be fine with it, and then it happens and then she's like blowing up, because clearly they're not on the same page here. And like, yes, I agree, she could have just sucked it up and dealt with it, because this is your partner right now. Maybe it won't be after you go back home. Exactly. That's fine.
But deal with it
in
then.
the moment, just, you know, be polite. Be like, here's $30 and let me go my way. Do you know what I mean? But like, how would you react if you came to my house and my mom's like, yeah, you got to pay for this corn, you got to pay for this
Mama,
food,
really?
everything. What you do?
Nah, I just pay for it. Like, I just be like, yo, I guess. Like, it's not normal to me, but I'm like I would like, my brain would instantly go to like, oh, these people are probably not in a financial situation at which they can just be doing stuff out of their means, right? And I'm just like, I deal with it. Like, how I move on from there, like, God knows, like, it depends on whatever. Like, personally, I don't think it would be too bad, like, you know, or whatever. But at the same time, I feel like you just deal with it, honestly. Yeah. But like, I don't get me wrong, I'm not crazy. Like, I can tell that's weird. I'm not saying it's normal.
Yeah.
Like, usually people like, it's commonplace that most people will just, if you come into their house, they treat you as a guest and offer you what they have. You know, they don't charge you. You know, it's not like you're going to a restaurant, you know, or something. I fully understand that, but at the same time, some people, as I said, maybe some people are just weird like that when it comes to money. Like, they don't like it. But then there's some people who are generally just struggling, and they're like, as much as I want to have people over, I generally don't have the means to.
Yeah. And
like, I know some people would be like, oh, well, if you don't have the means, then you should invite people.
It's not like that.
It's not like that, you know? So it's a sticky situation, honestly.
You just got to have the small bits that you can do.
Well, Nicola's mom would never do that to me. She feeds me abundant thing and gives me all the stuff. Cheers, mama. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and similar, obviously, to your parents as well, always treating me really well. Because I'm imagining, do you know, like, sometimes, like, both our families, like, say they cook a lot, right?
Yeah.
So then, like, you're coming over and my mom has made, like, a 5-course meal and, like, all these desserts. And
so that'll be $100.
That's cheap. Like, imagine it's like, yeah, that'll be, like, €250.
Yeah, cheers, they're low. And I'm like, I could have went to a Michelin star restaurant with this money. What are you offering me?
Oh my God. But
not saying that your food is not amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Oh my God. But then imagine it's like, you know, like your whole family comes and it's like per person. It's like, cover the bill.
I would have to cover the bill.
You would. That's the thing.
Down.
That'd be so funny.
No.
But no, that's never happened on either side. It's just all hypothetical. All hypothetical. Is she the asshole for going home early?
Oh, absolutely.
Is she?
I absolutely, like, once again, I said it, like, unless you are being emotionally or physically abused, like, or undermined and so on and so forth, like, you're just, like, you're trying to be in this person's life is what you're assuming. It's not like you're assuming that you're not going to be in their life. unless they're being really bad to you, and when I say really bad, I mean to your degree, not to like to whatever you can take, you know, you just deal with it for as much as you can, and then you freaking leave normally, and then you can vent about it to your partner the whole time on your way home. Like, I don't know, it sets such a bad precedent in my eyes. I'm like, do you not have any tolerance to like
no
awkward or bad situations?
See, I don't agree in that. I don't think she's an asshole that she went home early. I think she's an asshole for not being polite and like paying. I don't think you have to drag yourself to something that you know you're probably going to end the relationship.
It was one more night.
I don't know. I think it's that level of like discomfort that you're like, I'm not willing to put up with this.
I can understand if it was like, once again, this sounds so bad. Like if it was something serious, like they were undermining you, or like they were being rude to you.
Maybe this
like,
is her
just
serious.
Asking you, hey, will you pay for this?
What if she's like, well, I can't afford to pay for breakfast, lunch, and dinner the next day?
But you could afford the flights back home.
I mean, at least there's food free at home.
I'm joking. I don't know. Honestly, you guys tell me. Like,
up
give
to
me
you
some
guys.
good points. Give me some good points, because from my point, I like, once again, I'm a very big tolerating person. That's how I've been taught to grow up. Like especially in our culture, you just have to tolerate a lot. Like, I've noticed that division a lot in like the difference between like the Western mentality and the African mentalities. Like for us, you just have to tolerate a lot of stuff. Like even for us, like if a random person you don't know slaps you, you know, because you were being rude, like, and they're more older than you just take it. You know, you're just like, that's it. So that shows the degree of like the tolerance like I have, but at the same time I understand it's not the same for everyone, which is a pretty interesting way.
And that's a hint into our next episode, because I have some stuff saved. But I think it's the same for me, but then like growing up.
But Nicolette is not like that. Nicolette is very Western. She's like, fuck you, I don't have to tolerate your bitch ass.
no like I do, obviously, if it's people that I know and everything, I just hold my, like, bite my tongue and just like move on with my life. At the end of the day, I don't want to deal with the drama. I'd rather just take it and go. But like if someone is being disrespectful to me and like, you know, like say when, you know, we were walking by like all around the street and people were just being racist to you and stuff, and it's like people, I'm not going to tolerate stuff like that. Like it's not worth it, you know. Anyways, on to the next story. So, am I the asshole for not taking a special request from my wife while cooking the family breakfast? Last weekend, I decided that I was going to make my family a big breakfast spread as part of the lame, according to our oldest daughter, family time that we decided to have that day. The plan was to have breakfast together, watch a movie, have lunch, and play some games as a family before we release the kids from the clutches of the again lame family. So anyway, I got up early, heated up the waffle iron and the huge stovetop skillet, and went to work making waffles, scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, and hash browns. As I was finishing and the kids had plated up, my wife asked me to throw a couple of eggs over easy on for her. She's the only one in our family who can stand runny yolks. Neither I nor the kids will touch them, but she really, really likes them. I just told her, nah, I'm finishing up already. If you really want a couple of eggs your way and want to make them yourself, go for it, but I'm done. She responded, you're already cooking. I'm in the mood for a couple of over easy eggs. Why can't you just throw them on for me? I refused, and it turned into way more quiet, bickering argument than it should have. It's been on my mind since, and on the one hand, I feel bad my wife just asked me for a small favor that wouldn't have been a big deal at all to fulfill, but on the other hand, I had made plenty of food already. My wife likes scrambled eggs too, just fine, and there was plenty of food for her to eat. Why did she need to go insisting on her special request? It was honestly a silly, petty fight, but nonetheless, I'm curious what people think it was, who people think was in the right.
Definitely not you, bro. I'm sorry, this is a very straightforward story. Like, you're already there. Like, it's really not, like, I understand the inconvenience. Like, that's where you need to learn the tactic of just going, fine, and you just do it.
I don't think you should even say the
No, do it.
I think you should just do it. Show
your discomfort.
No,
but do it.
I disagree
and
so
then be like,
much.
I love you still.
I disagree so much. I think when you do things for people that you care about, you just do it, even if it's inconvenience to you, because you're like, this is the way that they want to be loved right now.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. But at the same time, I feel like if you don't show your like feeling, and you just hide it in, that can turn into like, it can turn into other fights. You get me? As in, like, some people, right? If they don't like let out that like okay, and
go
do
to
it,
your room,
right? It's like it like they hold. It's kind of like that thing, they hold it in, and then any little thing they do like pisses you off, and then you just start reacting. Like,
but then that tells me a lot about the type of partner that person is.
Well,
if
no,
that's
I feel
how
like
they
it's just like
into
expressing themselves, like, you know, like whatever.
Listen, I feel like, and I'm not trying to say anything, but I feel like women a lot of times do a lot of things that are inconvenience to them.
And I fully agree with you.
For their men, and they sometimes go out of their way to like get things done, or, you know, even like let more food for their partner or for the kids or whatever, and we'll never really let that out.
I feel like they should.
No, because they don't see it that way. I feel like the problem is the way you're seeing this, because you're seeing it as like, oh, this is inconvenience for me. But it's not like that. If you were to ask me for something, it's like, oh my God, he wants me to do something like for him. Let me try to make you feel special. It was that kind of, it's how you approach the situation and your mentality.
And I agree with you. But I'm like, that's you. Like, some people generally, like, if they see it as an inconvenience, they see it as an inconvenience.
If you're going
But I feel like even if you see it as, my point is, even if you see it as an inconvenience, right, you should still do it because it's the person you love, right?
If you're going to complain about it, I don't want you to do it.
And that's perfectly fine.
That is not okay.
And those two people should not be together.
Like, I agree.
Like because you're both not on the same page in the first place.
I don't think that you like showing convenience for something so small, like if you're the type of person who's doing that, like you need to have a look at yourself and how you like show and express love and how you care about others, because it's
but they
just
could be a
not
great
okay.
person, and they could just find, like, once again, like, everyone finds inconvenience at any different time. Like, once again, this could be an inconvenience in that one specific scenario, but every other scenario is perfectly fine, right? And that's why I'm saying that, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's in the sense of, in the end of the day, what matters is that whether you're feeling inconvenienced about something or not, right? If you truly love someone and they're asking you to do a small favor, you, out of the love you have for them, is why you do that thing.
But you're still going to complain about it.
No, once again, when I say, I'm not saying complain about it. Like, you can letting out a sigh of is not complaining about something, I feel. I feel like it's just like, all right, move on with your life. Like, you know, like, whatever you want. It's really not that deep. You get me?
But it really is. Your perception is very deep.
Like, once again, like, to each their own. Everyone sees things differently. I wouldn't care. You know, I'm like, oh, you cutie, you're still doing it still. But, like, you know, and I move on. Like, I don't see it as that deep. But obviously, as I said, there are people who will be like, I don't like that you did that. You know, actually, now that you complain, I don't even want you to do it. Which is also, but I feel like both responses are perfectly valid.
I don't think so. I think just
there's like, there's only one right answer. Go fuck yourself.
It's not. It's not that people can't have different reactions. I think it's important to look inside yourself and try to figure out, why do you feel the need to let the person who asked you to do something, why do you feel the need to let them know that you're inconvenienced about it? Because if I'm asking you to do something for me, I know it's an inconvenience, but I'm asking you because I'm like, oh, like, it would be nice, like, if
and then they're showing you, oh yeah, but no, I don't care because I love you. Is that not good enough?
No, I don't know, because I don't need you to tell me that. You'd show me that.
It's like how my parents, like, when I was younger, like, the fucking TV remote will be in front of them, right? It'll be in front of them, and I'll be upstairs playing games. They'll call me from upstairs to be like, Farouk, give me the remote. The remote's in front of them. And I'm just like, it was just there. And I give it to them, and I move on with my life.
I literally
angry? Say to them, I'm like, but it was in front of you. And I give it to them. We laugh, and I move on.
I feel like it's different scenarios though, because describing like small little things, like the way you scream for me to bring your towel in the bathroom, that's
hey, you do it too.
That's very
if it's far away.
Different. It's different to like in this situation, you know, like cooking something for them.
Because in this scenario, he had already cooked food that everyone was able to eat, and he was just wrapping up. And then now you want him to
listen,
do it
this
again.
guy knew how his wife likes his eggs. her eggs.
Well, no.
He knew
because
this.
she made the special request.
No.
She was willing to eat scrambled
He
eggs.
specifically stated that, oh, my wife's the only one who likes this, but there's already food enough food for her. But it's like, if you know your wife, cook it the way she likes to.
That is also fair.
Eat it.
You know what? We're never going to go anywhere because Nick and I can go back and forth on this point forever. Tell us, this is the most important story you guys need to reply on. What do you think is the correct response? Do you think it's okay to be like, oh, it's an inconvenience, but still do it because I love you? In whatever way, whether it's just a slight, or like, of course you ask me now, but it's fine, I'll do it for you, babes. Or, as Nicoletta said, just do it happily, smile on your face, go on with it because you should love the person. Which one do you think is the correct response? Which do you think both are correct? Let us know.
I think it's dependent on the situation, and I think it just really depends. It just really depends. First of all, that has nothing to do with the story anyway. The story was, is it okay that I didn't cook it at all for her? No, I think you should have.
Yeah, I think you should. Actually, that's right. You should have cooked that fucking eggs.
Cook the bloody eggs.
I think we all agree on that point. That she just.
I hope so, because come on, like just do it. Regardless of how you're gonna do it, just do it. It wasn't that big of an ask. You already cooked a lot of food, so you might as well just.
God, you know that actually might be some people who were like, damn, you shouldn't have cooked the eggs at all. I agree with him. That's gonna be interesting as well. I didn't even think about that viewpoint.
That is true. Actually, that's a good point. Anyways, let's move on to the next story. This is the last story of the day. So here, this is how it goes. Am I the asshole for being upset that my wife wanted to work out with a home wrecker? My wife has a colleague from work, Joe. And Joe split from his wife a year ago. Joe also runs a home-based business as a fitness instructor. The way I understand it, he has his basement and backyard full of equipment, and people pay him in either groups or as individuals for training in his basement. My wife took part as part of this group this summer. What am I even saying? Can I start that sentence again?
Yeah.
Sorry. My wife took part as part of a group this summer. The sessions were at 7:30 a.m. and she told me one day that as she was arriving, a different colleague of hers came walking out of his kitchen having coffee, clearly having slept over during the night. The thing is, this woman just split with her husband 4 weeks earlier. Now, I don't have evidence, but it seems to me that due to only 4 weeks passing and she is already announcing to colleagues that they are sleeping together, they very likely had something before she split with her husband, and it was very likely he was a contributing factor in her split from her family. That was a very long sentence. I don't know why, but you guys understand what he's trying to say. Fast forward 4 weeks, my wife tells me she wants to go with a friend 2 evenings per week to this guy's place to work out with him in the basement. At first, I said that I was not going to say no, but after thinking about it for a couple of days, I told my wife I didn't like it and I wasn't comfortable with it. Well, she goes ahead and signs up anyway. After I told her I wasn't comfortable with it. She doesn't tell me until an hour before the first session. Well, I was quite pissed and we had a fight. She ended up canceling the workout sessions, but only did it because I basically told her to. She doesn't think anything is wrong with it and thinks I'm wrong here. It's been 2 weeks and we have been cold and distant ever since.
That was a lot of assumptions you're making. Jump into assumptions. You must have lost a lot of weight there, bro. But
more than she is.
You know, but yeah, no, he was literally just assuming that he's the homewrecker. Like, she could have just split from her husband 4 weeks ago and then instantly decide to get underneath someone.
You're giving a big benefit of the doubt here.
Whoa. Yo, like, the fastest way to get over someone is by getting under someone.
God.
All right? I live by that statement. Like, literally, trust if we broke up the next time with someone else. But anyway, back to what I was saying.
You heard that.
Back to what I was saying. No, I think he's assuming. But at the same time, I think this comes from a place of insecurity. Like, he's just like, he thinks because this guy bagged another person that she was working with, like, after or during your one's relationship, he's like thinking, oh, my wife could end up in the same scenario. 1, why don't you trust your wife? 2, why don't you have more confidence in yourself? 3, you're making a lot of assumptions here. And 4, there's this scenario of like, if you really do feel uncomfortable with your partner being with someone else in that close proximity, that's something you should discuss like properly, like sit down and explain as to why you don't like it, and then it's up to them to decide how they feel about it, obviously. And then from there, you both go ahead and figure out where you can get a middle ground or something.
Right.
Because honestly, just telling someone to not see someone because you feel uncomfortable with it is not okay.
I don't think that's fair. I think he was very calm and polite about it and said, hey, I'm actually not comfortable with this. I think that's fair. That's valid. You can be uncomfortable with things. You just need to say that.
Yeah.
I just don't think she cared. I think regardless of what's like going on, like this is some guy training like two women in a basement in the middle of like in the evenings. That's just so weird.
It's a gym.
Like, no, like it's not a gym, it's his basement. Okay,
that has a lot of gym
there
equipment.
isn't other people around and like
Once
stuff.
again, it's a personal training.
Like it's so sus. And the my third point here
Well, you
is,
think he's banging both of them at the same time?
I mean, he might be.
Maybe you should act up, bro. Maybe you should go gym too.
And like my thing is, if this was a female and he was going to train with her in her basement, you know, however many times a week, she would be fuming.
And I think, and I agree with you, that would be the case. But I think that stems from people's insecurities. Why do you think?
I don't know. I think
your
it's
partner
weird.
is just gonna go and sleep with the next man?
It's not about sleeping with them though. I think it's just like, look, I'm not comfortable like with it. I think you're in a relationship, you're allowed to be uncomfortable with things.
I could understand if you were uncomfortable with your like partner going on a sleepover in like someone's house, right?
But
like the opposite
no.
gender's house or same gender's house. Who knows? But like going to the like, so it's like it's already a situation where it's established that this guy is a personal trainer. He has done groups multiple times. He has done individuals multiple times. He has a load of equipment, probably enough that if he really wanted, he could make a gym out of it, right? Because clearly, they said in the basement and in the back garden that he has a lot of equipment. This is something he's been doing for a long time. Just because he has slept with one person does not mean he sleeps with all his clients, right?
We don't know that.
Yes, but once again, we can't assume he has either,
Well,
right?
I assume he hasn't.
Okay, and it's one thing that you're doing something from a completely professional manner where it's like, I want to get fit. I want a personal trainer. This is one that
Go to the gym.
This is one that's already easily accessible by everyone in my group, right? Because everyone's already been doing this, right?
I don't know. I don't think everyone in her group.
Well, she said like he did groups and individuals already, so like that's something
That
that's been
doesn't
done.
mean groups that she knows.
Oh, obviously, if everyone knows,
She
then
could be
it's
bluffing.
something. Either way, it's established that there. Now, if the trainer was to make advances or anything of the
We don't
sort,
know if he didn't.
no, I'm saying if he had done, then it's on to her to tell her partner and then cut it from there. Either to cut it straight away to be like, this, I'm definitely not comfortable with this. You can't see with this person. Understandable, but nothing has happened. It's been strictly professional, and you're automatically being like, "Oh, I don't want you to go there. I'm insecure." That's where my issue lies.
He didn't even say he's insecure. He said he's not comfortable with it.
Because he's why? Okay, can you explain to me why he would? Because he thinks she's going to sleep with him.
No, I don't think so. I think if I was here telling you I'm going to a guy's basement for him to train me at 8 p.m., I think you should be like, yo, that's
if you
pretty
had
weird.
already been doing this like in a group with the same person for X amount of months, and I also know for a fact that this
just
person
started. Why are you saying months?
No, but because she did group trainings.
No, with
I'm just
him.
saying.
This is the first time she's going.
No,
to
she
him.
went with groups.
She
said in
said
the
she
story.
booked it for the first time there.
No, for the two individual. They were already going. She was already going in a group in the story. So she was already going in a group in the story, and then she decided, oh, we should just go as two for more sessions. Like if this person if I already know this person's a trainer, you've already gone to this person as a trainer. Why the fuck do I care that you're doing more sessions?
Because it's weird.
It's insecure.
I don't think it's insecurity.
It's insecure.
I don't think it is. I think you're allowed to be uncomfortable. Like that's
Yeah, you can be uncomfortable,
okay.
but the uncomfortableness comes from a place of insecurity.
I don't know, because like I'm thinking like now you're out here and you know we're going to a club and you're like I want to go dance and grind around with other girls.
That's completely different.
No, and I'm like I'm not comfortable with that.
That's completely different from going to a professional establishment for a
but
professional
it's not
service.
a professional establishment. It's someone's basement. It's like a friend's basement.
it's the same thing of like how guys find even let's even forget the basement. Even if this guy was in a normal gym training her, the person would still feel uncomfortable because you don't know what they're doing.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would.
Absolutely, because they can still go home. They would.
He said something else in the story.
They can still go home with that person even after the gym session, and you would never know.
No, I don't think so.
Absolutely, I think this is pure insecurity.
Okay, so he edited for more information, and he said, I asked my wife if she thinks the guy was moving on the women while she was still married. And she says that yeah, he was. I also asked my wife if the roles were reversed and I was working out with a female colleague in her basement and it was assumed she slept with a married guy at my work contributing to a divorce, if she would be comfortable with it, and she wouldn't say either way. Again, while I understand it doesn't come off that way, I trust my wife, I don't trust the guy, and just didn't like the situation.
And that's perfectly fine.
But you're saying it's not.
No, but what I'm saying is it's still coming from a place of like he truly believes that this person is either going to hit on her or like something could happen, right? That's why I said it's literally comes from a place of at which it's like, I feel personally, from my opinion, I wouldn't be in a situation to be like, oh, Nicoletta's going off to work with a personal trainer and God knows. I don't care whether it's in the gym or like a run out or like some, like what's it called? Makeshift gym, right? Yeah. If I knew it was a service that was already being provided, what I would expect from you is to tell me that this person's hitting on you, and then it's on to me to tell you, I'm uncomfortable with you seeing this person because they're hitting on you. But once they haven't done anything and they're just doing their job, who am I to tell you to not go?
Because you can. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's funny because the overall result on the story is that he's not the asshole for it. And I don't think he's the asshole.
I think he's just being insecure.
I don't think he is.
I genuinely think he's being
I think insecure. It's okay to be uncomfortable. Or
also,
you're even worried.
Reddit, who are Reddit people? No offense.
No, that's not fair. That's not fair. Hell, you could be concerned for her safety if it's just her.
That's a different story.
But God, that could be it.
No, because once again, she's already
it's not a different story. See, now you're going back on it.
She's already gone in groups.
Group versus just two women.
Well, I'll leave this to everyone else. My mind is made up on this. I think he's insecure. No one can change my mind on this. But I'd like to see what I think he's allowed thinks.
To be looking out for his woman or like.
Absolutely. But I still think he's being insecure. Absolutely.
I don't think he is.
But you guys tell us. What do you think? Insecurity or just whatever else it could be? I'd like to know.
Whatever else, meaning, worried for his wife.
Yeah, no, that's why I said
thinking
whatever
about
else.
her safety. That's not whatever else. I think you should be concerned about your partner's safety.
Absolutely, but I do believe that this is insecurity.
I don't think
he hasn't killed her like over the months she's been going in a group.
She's been in a group.
There's two women.
So you're saying what, like a massive ass buff ass man can't take on two women?
I'm not saying he can't, but I'm saying it's still not her by herself. Right?
He could murder them.
Once again, she's already been going, and also I don't think these groups are as big. What's the difference between him murdering two women and murdering four?
We don't know how big the groups are, but regardless, he's not taking on four women.
I know,
he's not taking on four women.
He's taking on four women.
He's not taking on four women.
That's a whole difference.
He's absolutely not.
If he can take on two, he can lock the door and take on four.
He's not taking on four.
If he's as big as
there's equipment around, there's dumbbells, throw them at his head, la la la.
Who knows?
Till next time.
Peace.